Hey guys, this is gonna be a TvP in the Masters League of myself playing against a Protoss, and this is gonna be a build order guide to my proxy factory WidowMine pressure against a Protoss, and yeah, it should be pretty good because it's working pretty good for me. I like just taking control of the game, being aggressive, setting the pace of the game, especially in TvP where like the Terran really has to kind of keep up with the Protoss tech and respond appropriately. Like if he builds Colossus, you have to build Vikings. If you build Templar, you have to build Ghosts. But this way, it delays his gas units, it delays his tech. So moving into the mid game, if you transition well, you should be in a pretty good position. And the first supply depot does go down at 10 supply. Really standard depot timing. And behind this, I'm just rallying this worker over here to build my 12 barracks. And in TvP, I really like walling off the front just because it denies, kind of scouting if the Protoss doesn't send out an early probe, as well as if he chrono boosts out like the Zealot and two Stalkers, they can't just walk through when I have only like 3 Marines. So generally, it's just a good idea to wall off against Protoss. But it's a preference thing. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's just the way I've always played. And behind this, 13 gas going down. Gas on 13. You will be saturating that with 3 workers immediately because you want that factory to come up pretty fast. And at 15 food, you also send out an SCV to go out into the middle of the map and proxy the factory. Let's talk about this scouting probe though. Like at this point in the game, he sees my barracks, he sees my orbital command about to start, and he sees my gas, and you can probably speculate that this either went down on 12 or 13. So at this point, he doesn't really know what's happening. I do trap the probe in here, so that's a guaranteed probe kill right there. But you don't want the probe to pick off any of your workers building buildings. It's really pesky and annoying, but something you got to deal with. And at this point, Protoss really doesn't know what I'm doing, because to be honest, like these days in TvP, everybody loves putting their gas on at 13 or 12, going for a Reaper, going for a relatively early factory in general, put on some late early game pressure. And what you want to do with the barracks is build 2 Marines and then build a tech lab on it straight away. Also, when you have the first 100 gas, you want to put down this factory. I do delay it a bit just because I'm microing this Marine to try and kill this probe. You don't want it to stick around your base for too long. You really don't want it to spot your tech lab because that means you're going to be aggressive straight away. And you really don't want your Protoss opponent to know at this stage. Another supply depot, making sure I don't get supply capped. Tech lab has gone down on the barracks. And yeah, so at 15 you also want to start your orbital command. I forgot to mention that, but that's standard timing as well. So the only weird thing is adding this tech lab after 2 Marines, as well as sending out this SCV at 15 to build this proxy factory with your first 100 gas. And with the barracks, with tech lab and a naked factory, you're not going to have enough production to spend all your money, and you are coming to around 16 SCVs worth of saturation. So your mineral count is going to go up, and so behind this you can put down a command center quite nicely. You can put it on the low ground if you're feeling risky. You can put it on the high ground if you're feeling a bit more conservative and safe. Concussive shells has come out. I do rally my barracks to these units. You push out when the first Marauder pops out, so you should be pushing out with Marauder and 2 Marines. And it's a really nice little timing. If a Stalker is out on the field heading to my base and it gets tagged by the Marauder with concussive shells, it's gonna die. It's guaranteed to die. The first one does smell something happening over here, so he does send his Stalkers, but all you want to do with WidowMines against Stalkers is you want to burr them as soon as possible. He's not going to have detection at this point. He does go 1 gate into Robo, which is good for him just because he can get his detection up in time, but at the same time he's not going to have very many units. And you really need to be careful about your Marines when you're doing this pressure, because the Mothership Core, you technically need 3 Marines to take out the Mothership Core. So if your Marines die, I only have 1 left at this point. You really have to protect your bunker with WidowMines, so the Mothership Core doesn't just take free shots at it. But yeah, behind this I am producing my natural command center as well as constant unit production out of my barracks and factory. And let's pause over here right now to talk about what kind of damage you want to be doing to justify sacrificing that early expansion in favor of this aggression. So putting out a bunker here really puts the Protoss in a difficult position, because if the bunker is in range of the Nexus, which it isn't this game, but it could have been, that's a bit of a mistake by me. Marauders are going to be constantly attacking this Nexus, and that puts a time, like a time limit to how long the Protoss can wait and build up units before he has to kind of push down and try to protect this. So if you get this Nexus, if you kill it, that's great. That's really awesome. You're miles ahead, but at the same time, you don't have to kill this. Do enough damage to justify this pressure. One thing that I think a lot of Terrans have problems with is kind of like the mid game and late game against Protoss, when they have all their tech units coming out into the field, a lot of splash damage to negate the effectiveness of clumped up bio. And this delays all that. This pressure delays the gas being spent into tech. Okay, so granted that the Protoss did go for one gate into Robo. He does have this Robo, but at this point, he really can't commit to making robotic support bay or a Twilight Council. He can't even, he hasn't really committed to upgrades either, because he's just constantly trying to produce army units to try and fend this off. And every time you kill a Stalker, every time you kill a Mothership Core, every time you kill a Sentry, that's less gas he can put into tech in the early game. So in the mid game, he's going to be lacking a lot of tech. And every time you kill a Stalker, he's going to have to replace it, because my units are building up, his are diminishing. And as long as you kill enough units, I feel like you're doing a lot of indirect damage, as well as you're denying mining here all the time. If he does try to transfer, just put like 2 Marines here or a Marauder here, and nothing can mine here, as well as pro production is being denied from his natural as well. So this is already doing a lot of damage. And this pressure also lets me take a really safe command center. And so after kind of moving into the mid game, you want to transition by putting down 2 more barracks and a starport, as well as an engineering bay. You really want the essential things to start rolling for the Terran, which is kind of the 3 barracks. You want to get the stim and combat shield, as well as the medevac support for them, because you're going to follow this up with a Marine Marauder medevac timing, which is kind of like the standard 10-minute push out that we had in Wings of Liberty, but it's just going to be slightly delayed. And if you did enough damage, he's just not going to have the tech or the production or the worker count, in fact, to hold off your secondary push. So the aim of this is not to kill your opponent, it's just to do damage, delay their gameplay, throw them off their tempo. A lot of times at my level, if you get caught, like, this kind of pressure really flusters me, and it really limits my ability to think straight, transition properly. And he's pulling a lot of probes right now, and this push has just more than paid for itself. My 2 WidowMines are still alive, 3 Marauders are just kiting probes at this point, and my production is about to kick in. Combat shields and stim have been started. My second gas is up. I am producing SCVs. I should probably just pull back behind this and macro up. And this has been the build order guide to my proxy factory WidowMine push against Protoss. I hope you guys have learned something. The most important thing to remember is just denying his gas units, denying his gas to be put into tech. I mean, look at this. It's nearly 10 minutes. He only has 3 gates and a robo, because all of his gas has been committed to Stalkers and the Mothership Core. I hope you guys learned something today, and I hope you guys tune in next time.